Aloha and welcome to the Mockup Design module, part one. There's going to be a couple parts to the mockup design process for RadGrad. This is the one to kind of get yourself going. And the idea here is to take a look at material design examples and find examples of material design, screenshots that you find inspiring. You think, hey, some modification of this might actually apply to RadGrad. And to do that, I'm duplicating some readings from the prior module, so you can take another look at them. This time with the the goal of kind of looking at something like this and saying, gee, does this apply to RadGrad in some way? And if so, you might like do a propeller shift 4 and then just, select that region of the screen, take a screenshot, and start collecting snapshots of images that that look, appropriate. Because the first experience in this module is to write a technical essay where you're going to display at least about a dozen screenshots that I'd like you to try to find and embed into your essay and show how you think those screenshots apply to the 4 initial pages that we're going to be designing. Okay, so that's the first experience. The second experience is once you've got some screenshots and you've kind of got your brain thinking, in that fashion, then what I want you to do is actually start, instead of looking at material design and finding examples from other sites, now I want you to direct your focus to RadGrad and say, what would some of these pages look like and what would be on them? And that's the focus of this second experience. And there's 2 ways that you can go. One way that I'm not going to recommend and one way that I am. I kind of wonder why I'm actually giving you the option because I'm kind of biased. But, different people are different, so I'm going to try to allow you to make the choice of doing your mockups either using Lucidchart. They have an educational upgrade you can access, and they say within a day you get it awarded. And then you'll have access to a wireframing set of elements, which allow you to quickly kind of, WYSIWYG, drag and drop boxes and stuff on the screen. That's one way to go. Maybe a little later in the semester that might actually turn out to be a good way to go. But I'll tell you something, I have found that using paper and pencil is just much better, much easier, much faster, much more productive. And so what I would recommend, what I did is I went to the campus center and I bought some graph paper and some colored pencils and a sharpener. Cost me $6. You really don't have to do that. You could use regular paper, although graph paper kind of makes it easier to draw squares and straight lines and stuff. The big advantages to that, as you can see from looking at this, is that I was making a lot of notes about what I thought the landing page should be doing at the same time as I was basically drawing out little ideas for what an individual element might be. So this was my idea for an element for events or opportunities, and there'd be a little icon in the middle and a little background photo and some description and the date down here. That would have taken me a long time to do in Lucidchart, and it was just much more fun and fast to do it this way. The other thing is, for degree goals, I came up with this idea of using a word cloud to kind of show graphically what the degree goals are and then their relative frequency. That's something that I really honestly don't think would have occurred to me at all if I was using Lucidchart, because they don't supply a word cloud widget, so I probably wouldn't have tried to invent something that didn't actually exist in their kind of built-in widgets. So for a lot of reasons, I think it's worth thinking about. And if you just want to use regular paper and you got some crayons or whatever, you can figure out what works for you. This would be the way I would recommend going. Okay, but whichever way you go, what I want you to end up doing is creating a landing page, a home page, a degree planner page, and a profile page, and then write it up in a technical essay where you show, and you may have a few different options for each page. You don't have to restrict yourself to one, but talk about your design for each page in a technical essay and publish that. So at the end of this module, you'll essentially have two technical essays, one where you're just showing a bunch of material design examples that you found on the web, another where you're really thinking about the page design for RadGrad for this. Particularly if you're using colored pencils, I don't expect you to get all material designy with shades and the Z-axis and animations and all that stuff. Don't worry about that. Just basic ideas about how things could look.